This is a Twitter space, and the topic is going to be WOACB Netflix deal, fraud raisers, haters, and then, of course, I put my PayPal link because it's the end of the month, and I'm going to be sharing it until the 1st, so I put it in there. Now, let me see. First, I got to get these noodles eaten a little. I don't really think I need any more than that, so I think we're good to go. And I don't need, these noodles have already been cooked, I just need to heat them up, so I'm just going to turn it down a little. And I want the sauce not to be too thick. Damn, that's thick. That's some thick sauce. So, I'm going to let this kind of chill here. I'm going to talk to you guys. Okay, so there's some weird stuff going on. And what I want to do is make sure I bring context to these streams because someone might end up uploading it, of course. I give people permission to upload these to YouTube, so, you know. In case it gets uploaded, I give context, not to, you know, make you guys hear everything again, but I'll do it real quick. So we've been tracking the origins of a targeted harassment campaign from the very beginning of it all the way up until it fizzled out about the time maybe a year and 3 months after an NDA happened to substitute a restraining order. We've been following that harassment campaign for a long time. It all started, as you all know, when a few people met through Kyle Curtis doing a YouTube channel. Kyle was a pretty talented creator. He was able to bring large groups of people together and make successful content that was viewed in the thousands. And a lot of channels that you see out there now that have a lot of subs have a lot of, you know, ties to his community that he started. And those people ended up meeting there. And one of them was older and not as young and sexy as the others, and made some comments to a female that was there. He was warned to stop, and then he ended up saying something really gross in a call when it was just them after Kyle walked away, as you all know, and it started off the harassment campaign. In the beginning, when I would tell people that it was a targeted harassment campaign, they would call me crazy. They would say I was over-exaggerating things. Now, I don't see anybody who disagrees outside of a couple people that are just liars that hang with him and lie for him all the time, as you all know. And that can all be demonstrated. It's not my word against their word thing. It can be demonstrated. Something they will not do to who they attack. So I want to defend Menace in the very beginning of this. So if you watched my Twitter, when I saw the way that a couple of them were acting about 2 days ago, I had called them creepy window peeping pervs. So of course, because they don't have an original thought that goes through their brain, they are trying to frame Menace as a creep because his Twitter is a place where he commentates on the same subject. If you notice, he doesn't just talk about one person. That if you can look at what he talks about, and it's very obvious that he's looking at this targeted harassment campaign and the way it's evolved, because he himself sat and watched it culminate. He watched it happen. You know, it had the starts of any other targeted harassment campaign out there. And again, harassment is a very measurable thing. Okay, compared to just somebody criticizing somebody else or constantly talking about somebody else and them trying to cry harassment. Harassment's a very measured thing. You can look at it, you can judge it, you can prove it. It's different than criticism. It's different than those other things, as you all know. So basically, all these years later, here we are, here we sit. All of us are at the heads of the communities that we chill with as YouTubers, and of course, it's just a giant conglomeration of overlapping people who hang out and watch the content that all of us do. I wouldn't say that my peeps that watch me are any unified group, because I share so many people with Nate the lawyer, Rakita, just all these people, which is a bit different big difference between, the people that unfortunately devote their time to this practice that they've engaged in. And one thing that's happened is, as you know, and of course I'm bringing all this up for a reason, and we can move into current time now. One thing that's happened, as you know, is that with her success, Katie's success on YouTube, she actually has now been given a deal with Netflix where she is exposing who she says is a cult leader, 7M, the guy that heads 7M, who is basically the only people out there that defend 7M are Todd Chrisley and that pocket of haters that hang out with the dude that was accused of sexual harassment all those years ago. That's the group, that's the team, if you will, that has the back of 7M. The rest of the internet pretty much understands that 7M was a cult X amount of years ago, was called for it, was busted on it, and they kind of tried to make it seem as if they split up, but they didn't. And now Katie, of course, is taking the original accusations, the original evidence that's there, the lawsuits, the claims from the people that were affected by it, and she is doing this Netflix special with Fez. I think his name was Fez from that 70s show, Wilbur Valderrama. I always get his name wrong. From that 70s show. So you guys have most of you probably have seen that 70s show and seen Valderrama and what he did on it. If not, you could look it up and you know what we're talking about. So that leads us into present day. Because if you go look now, it's been almost exactly a year since she filed 2 ROs against 2 helpers that were, the right and left arm of the harassment campaign against Katie. And it's kind of funny because a year's gone by, and now that inner group that started that Facebook group long ago, that basically formed their cult, that went out and did this against anyone out there who would criticize them. Again, it doesn't matter if you support Katie or not. What matters is if you criticize them, then you are, of course, the bad guy, right? And in looking at what's going on now, we were in Discord talking about it after I finished my member-only stream. For those of you that watch my show, by the way, we got like 6 new emojis in. We've got a bunch more to put in, and new badges that we unlocked through YouTube. So just to let people know, when they come into the next stream, that all is available now. But the long story here, short, is that now, after this year's gone by, some of the people that had gone silent because of the restraining orders that were filed back then now are trying to claim, instead of coming out back then when it all happened and making claims, they're trying to come out now and change history, which is ironic because that's literally what the title of their video was, accusing everybody else of changing history. A little bit of projection? Nah, a lot of it. And they're trying to say that there was no deal made between lawyers. I don't care about all that. Essentially, what we have is Todd Chrisley. He put out, and now I retweeted this, he put out a tweet that said, "A lie makes it across the world faster than the truth." I think he got that backwards. That's probably why he's so messed up in his head. Because, he believes everything he talks about, he ends up getting it wrong or backwards. But he then said that Katie turns straight guys gay. So, of course, if you haven't followed Todd Chrisley's story and his lawsuit, I retweeted what he said, a picture of it, and I said, "Oh, is this what happened to you, Todd?" Because if you didn't know, during the lawsuit, Todd's business partner alleged that Todd was engaged in a sexual, shit, I forgot to stir that. Let me just get it stirred a little. There we go. Todd was accused of being in a sexual engagement with his business partner, who said that he used the sexual engagement to influence him to do all this crazy stuff for him. But what I wanted to kind of point out is, if you don't notice here, that group, the cult is the inner core, the ones that will deny evidence and straight lie, which is different from any other person out there, because everybody else doesn't want to be branded a liar. They don't want to be branded outside of reality. And the cult is unifying themselves back together. They've taken so many L's. They've been exposed so hard. Their king, who they said had the best lawsuit and that you needed to give all your money to it, and people did, to the tune of $5,000+. In fact, going back and looking at some of the streams where people donated super chats and said, use this for your lawsuit, and made claims that they sent PayPal donations towards the lawsuit, we actually think they made more $8,000 or $9,000 for the lawsuit. Irony if you've looked at the receipts. But in the end, the thing that I think is the reason I have to come to you and tell you about what's going on is because this group of people that has been documented in what they've done. So they constantly try to gaslight and change history and are prevented to by the archiving. Now are reinvigorating their efforts now that their God King's lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice. Now, I find it funny because we have the just absolute evidence that it was dismissed with prejudice. We have lawyers from Minnesota who've all went live to say the same thing. We have the code, the law itself that show it. And of course, I find it notable to where I need to put it into this stream, that what narrative is being ran, that it wasn't dismissed. Just like if you recall back when the Violence Against Women Act was used to allow the restraining order that was turned into an NDA to be valid across the country. And all of them went around claiming that the Violence Against Women Act wasn't applied when it was. And they're using the same argument. They're saying because the judge doesn't stand up from his chair and scream, "This lawsuit is hereby dismissed," or because the judge doesn't stand up and scream, "The Violence Against Women Act affords the RO these things," they're saying that it doesn't happen, that it's inaccurate for you to say that the judge dismissed the case with prejudice or that the judge filed the RO with the, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's the same argument. And it's a lie is what it is, because if we rewind back to other lawsuits they've commentated on, they have all made the argument that these automatic things that happen are valid, and they do happen, if you follow me. So one of the main reasons why I'm doing this, other than bringing up the lies that they're pushing now, the very obvious lies, very discernible lies, is that there's a clear, visible attempt to up their content, whatever it is they put out, whatever it is that you will call it. I call it nothing but harassment and hate. Some people will call it other things. Whatever you call it, their content now, and very visibly, has started to try to make fun of Katie's looks again, right? And make fun of her family, make fun of her looks, the way she talks, the fact that she's a woman, and just any little thing they can. It's insults over criticism, if it ever was criticism in the past, which it wasn't. Now it's just clear insults, clear making fun, clear harassment over any type of joking or any type of criticism. And that is being done in tandem with the same old people. Finally, it's almost like that after a year went by, now they feel confident to come out of the woodwork and start to hang out together again and say, we never had any agreement to stop talking about Katie, when we know they did. It's just, that's why they ran away. It's why they went underground. You know, they can lie all they want. The evidence is there. And the point is that at the end of the day, them all, almost a year to the point, a lot of people believe that their little agreement that they had every year, right? Isn't it ironic? Do you remember back when there was no NDA and that Unirock was the biggest liar ever? Remember that? And turns out there absolutely was. Did they ever apologize for lying on me or anything? Well, no, they never will. But remember, it's the fact that other people, they claim other people lie, that makes them valid for all this insanity, right? I just want to make sure to put a focus here on Twitter, and of course give permission for it to be uploaded to YouTube if anybody wants to. Janie the Terrible has been uploading them. If you want to upload this one, hit it. But the point that I want to make, though, is that when you get them back together, they definitely get nasty again. They start to do all of that terrible stuff again. They start to make fun of her looks again. They start to threaten her again. Because these people we're dealing with are exactly what they seem to be. They're exactly what we told you they were in the very beginning. This is a targeted harassment campaign. Definable only as that. If I had another way to describe it, I would. It's the only way. Let me get these noodles heated up a little more here and I'm going to be done. I am cooking while I talk to you. And then to lead into the last point, they had just called Katie one of the most evil people ever, because Katie, when she had dealt with someone, I forget who, Katie had tried to contact their sponsors or employer or something and basically tell the employer what was going on. And they said that Katie was engaging in life ruination and that Katie was engaging in really bad things. And I agreed with them, by the way. I had given my opinion on this, and it just so happened to be the same thing. It was wrong to do that, right? Well, now that Katie has teamed up with Netflix, I was the first one to announce it. They all called me a liar. Very quickly, they realized, oh shit, this actually is true, like they always do. They always call me a liar, and they just run with that as far as they can. But yet, every single time when it's revealed that I'm not lying and that they actually were lying, they never correct themselves. It's kind of funny. But the point is, what do you think they did to Netflix and the production company the minute they realized that Katie did have this deal with Netflix and that she's going to be exposing 7M? Now, I want to go a little deeper into why it makes them look so bad and why they're so hard to get her deal with Netflix thrown out the window. If you didn't know, not only have they said that the lawsuit that was just dismissed with prejudice by the judge due to the fact that the countersuit scared the cowardly Lobster so bad that as soon as he saw the countersuit, he shat his depends, which he was really thankful for because it helped with his fecal impaction, and then made sure to never step foot in the lawyer's office again to try to sue Katie and just let it expire. But that was a good one. I gotta remember that one. The point is, though, that they said that lawsuit was the best lawsuit ever. It was going to take her down. And also that the 7M lawsuit is the best lawsuit ever and it's going to take her down. Now we see that, you know, someone like Shin, when Netflix is about to do a documentary like this on you, they're going to let you know ahead of time. They're going to let you know. They're going to reach out for comment. And for all we know, the lawsuit against Katie could have been filed the minute that Shin found out that Netflix was teaming up with her, that talks were starting, and that Netflix was going to be doing this piece. And when he found out that it was Katie, that could have been what spurred the lawsuit. In fact, that's my opinion right now, where it sits. But the point is, this makes the hater community, not the criticism community against her, but the hater community look really fucking bad. They've gone so far as to lie and be as biased and sided as humanly possible. So when they find out that Shin is against Katie, they run and support Shin and end up getting embarrassed. Then they run and support Chrysler, Todd Chrisley, and end up getting embarrassed. And they run and support the Lobster. Well, he embarrassed them many times and then embarrassed them again when it got dismissed with prejudice. But the point that I'll make here is that I still believe Robert Shin may have somewhat of a hearable case for defamation. I don't think he'll win it. I do think it'll be heard. I just don't think he'll win. I don't think there'll be any damages assigned. I don't think it'll stick. But I do think Katie did go too far with a few of the comments that she made. Now that's me not knowing what else she knows. This is something, everybody's just assuming that she's lying her ass off on Robert Shin. Well, we ended up finding out she didn't. We ended up learning that there are other reporters that reported this before Katie and after Katie that had nothing to do with her. So the point is, there is something going on out there that's caused this, that's not just been made up by Katie out of the blue. So maybe that's why she accused Shin of the more severe thing she accused him of. And if it is, if there's something that would cause her to accuse Shin of that, then she's off the hook for defamation. You're dealing with a lot of people out there that are just Gatorade hater drinkers. They don't care what the truth is because they don't give a fuck about you. They will use you. They want to use you in their army of hate. They're so desperate for followers and subs that they'll lie straight to you if it'll cause you for a few weeks to tweet some inaccuracy that helps what they do. And I want it put to a stream here on Twitter. I wasn't going to do this stream. Changed my mind once I saw some stuff that was out there. Make sure you scroll my Twitter if you want to laugh your ass off at Boomer Hilarity. But in the end, the point is that we are dealing with a group that they themselves believe that what they're doing is wrong and harassment. And you can literally go just back about a week before they started to try to cancel Katie through Netflix and look at what they said about Katie doing the same behavior. So we're dealing with what I call, what us old school YouTubers have always called, SJW tactics. Because of course, when you don't have the truth and when you don't have, oh shit, hold on, that's a little too hot. I'm gonna add some sauce. Pull it down a little bit. Oopsie poopsie. I started to talk too much and now it's a little too hot in there. All right, I think I fixed that. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. At the end of the day here, we're dealing with people that, I mean, how bad is Katie? How bad is she? When are we going to get a creator out there who can do a video that actually weighs what she's done, not the lies, not the bullshit, not the haterade? When is a creator going to weigh what she's actually done? And when is a creator going to tell us just how bad she really is, so we know what kind of criticism she's deserving of? Because where it sits now, I haven't watched Cece Suarez's video, but I'm really hoping Cece, who, if you don't know about Cece, she's known for kind of the same kind of content that we cover, busting scams, busting MLMs, pyramid schemes. I stopped talking about MLMs near the end of my nightly live streamed podcast, my old show. But we always have covered those. She covers MLM. She covers this type of like multi-level marketing schemes and stuff. And she would be someone that I would think would make a good determination on this topic, right? Now, that's just my initial guess. I have no clue whether she actually believed the bullshit Caters flooded her with, because they did rush in there and basically become the most hardcore devoted CC fans ever. But the thing about CC is, unless she's changed, hope she hasn't, she would call people out for being cult-like. She'll call people out for acting like a fool. And I have seen one clip that we looked at on my member only stream where someone was trying to basically do that, and she called them out, which I think is great and good. So that does give me hope that she actually did a good video and kind of, gives us a good breakdown of what is it that we should weigh against Katie and what is it that we shouldn't weigh against her, because we can't weigh things against her that aren't true. I had stated 7M lawsuit would be the best lawsuit out of the bunch, where Chrisley's and Lobster's would be negative 20 billion and 7M's would be negative 1,000. Now I'm looking at the 7M lawsuit and those other two lawsuits having an equal chance of success, just so you all know. It's just the way it is now. And we shouldn't desire for people to be in trouble for things that they haven't done, right? We should desire for people to have to be accountable for what they did do, not for what they haven't done. And the problem we have is we have a bunch of people whose words mean nothing. You have to earn your respect in commentary and giving your opinion. You've got to earn it by having a fair opinion that treats everybody equally the same. It's not biased, so that you don't mislead people and you don't form cults and you don't form hate campaigns and targeted harassment campaigns. That's the whole point, okay? And we're dealing with people who have zero ability to be honest, and they've flooded the railways and the airways with just all of this fake bullshit. Now, don't think that that's a bad thing. I mean, it is, but she let it happen. She's fine with it. She stated she's not going to take measures against it, so that's her choice. And I think it's excellent because I like wading through those types of topics that are surrounded by misinformation and disinformation so that we can get to the bottom of it and actually have a challenge. And we've always been able to do that. And we've always been able to get to the bottom of these stories ahead of everybody else and get people the truth. And I'm not saying we're going to cover this. I've already covered the Katie thing. I've already made the determination. I've already shown you what's going on. She's a YouTuber. She's vindictive sometimes. Sometimes, though, she can actually do good and behave and not be. And selectively, sometimes she's worse. Sometimes she's not. And is she a vile criminal, the worst person ever? No. These people that believe that are narcissists who believe that they are the most perfect person ever, and they believe that they can't be criticized to any degree. They're never wrong. They never make mistakes. You feel me? You follow me? And when you get someone that believes that, and you see that they also have been sexually denied by the person, you get levels of hate that form these kind of campaigns. It just happens a lot. So where will this go? Well, you're going to see, mark my words, you wait, they've all decided to go all in on reforming their cult. Though their cult has been completely abandoned by every community. Every community. The only people they have left are the worst doxers, the worst liars, the worst stalkers. That's all they have. So they're going to form into a very small group of vicious doxers and liars. And that's what they'll be for years. You wait and see. I told you what would happen from the very beginning of this story, and I've been on point the whole time. They're going to do this for years. They're only going to have the worst people around them. They're going to dox, they're going to attack, they're going to lie, they're going to set things up, they're going to fake things. They're going to be doing that times a billion. Now, luckily, they've lost so much of their ability to affect anyone's opinion. And they've lost, so they're going to have to put work really fucking hard to even be able to have a minor effect. Okay? And it'll be a little bit of justice because they're just going to be locales, and it'll form into one of the most kind of like craziest incel slash you have to apologize to your sexual harasser type of campaigns you've ever seen. It's going to be hilarious. Only because, again, this is being allowed, not fought against or criticized by the person that matters, the one at the core, her, right? If she's going to let it happen, all we can do is giggle while we cover other things. Either way, I'm going to head into Discord. If you want to support me, it's the end of the month. That means I am Red Bullous. PayPal.me/Unirock, of course. For anyone that supports me, thank you. And mark my words, y'all. Mark my words. You're going to see fraudraisers from these people, and you're going to see just a lot of harassment now that they're kind of like grouping it back together. I'll commend anyone out there who actually has separated themselves and are standing on their own 2 feet and being honest with the community and the audience now that all barriers are busted and everyone is just themselves. And I made a promise a long time ago that when that would happen, the people out there that would come out, be honest, be cool about things, you know, they wouldn't be hated, they wouldn't be reminded, they wouldn't be shat on, and I'm not going to shit. You know, anyone that got away from it and anyone that's out there giving their own good opinion now, that then, hey, they got my thumbs up. So I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening. You're really cool. Now let's hope I didn't ruin this spaghetti sauce, because it actually looks really good. Put too much sauce in it though. It's still got a lot of meat, I guess. Not too chunky. Not too chunky.